Good morning, guys. It's Chris from the DAXtrader.co.uk. It's Thursday the 27th, and this is the DAX Technical Analysis Summary. And the webinar this morning, we looked through the DAX, the Eurostoxx, and a little strategy based around the Bollinger Bands. And if you want to join us for that, come to the Telegram channel. You can join that from the website homepage by clicking on this link. We normally do the webinars around about 7 o'clock in the morning, sometimes maybe 7:30. And we go through some really, really cool stuff in there. So come along and join us for that. Check out the economic calendar and the other tools that are available on the website, such as the indicator table and other bits and pieces, to get some really, really interesting views on what's going out there at the moment. There's also a news feed and some other strategies and bits and pieces out there as well. All right, so for today then, we're going to take a look at the DAX and maybe a quick view of the Eurostoxx as well. There is a trading disclaimer that applies, so trading financial markets is risky. Please read the description for the disclaimer and accept that before you proceed. Alrighty, so the daily chart, which we should now be seeing on here, looks like this. And again, just briefly touching this, this is a high-to-high downsloping trend line which has been created, or a parallel has been taken from that to create this channel. These horizontal lines just mark out some of the recent highs. We're currently around channel resistance. There might be one last attempt to tag the underside of that before the move lower, but at the moment we are definitely struggling to take out that 300 level. We'll look at that in a little bit more at the moment. These tools down here, I have just a simple delta scanner. At the moment, delta is the difference between the bid and the ask volume, and the delta percentage is a percentage difference. I find it's useful sometimes just to keep an eye on as a scan when you're on looking at a new market. And then we've got the range scanner underneath it. You'll notice how the DAX has been struggling to get into triple figures over the last 4 days. So we'll see today whether or not we manage to break that. But, very quiet to what we would normally expect from the DAX. Looking at the minor swings overall, so the major bullish reaction wave that we've seen from these lows at 848 have been split into its component parts. You can start to see now that we are forming the beginning of a new bearish wave here. And if we break 305, that will strengthen that wave. But if we actually take out, I believe it's probably closer to the 420, which would be just underneath the recent high, then it would actually reverse that and look to continue to go long again. I was zoomed in here because I was looking at the depth of market on the right-hand side. You can just sort of see what the order book is here and all the different things that are out there at the moment as I was comparing it to the Eurostoxx. So just take a mental snapshot of that for now, specifically the numbers on the left and the right-hand side. Okay, with that in mind, we'll just go and look at this. This is the volume profile based on all of the data from the major low to the major high of this bullish reaction wave. And what I find interesting is just this low volume area in here. The longer we form this support zone, the stronger it's going to be, and the more difficult it will be to break into that low volume area. And price will then have created, if it hasn't already, this second double distribution up here. Okay, we are currently trading at 320, and we have formed only a 17-point range this morning so far in the first hour or so. If we break above the value area low at 327, there is a chance that we can go out and take that point of control at 346, much the same way as the idea I discussed yesterday. So I'll be watching out for that. And relatively straightforward profile, all nicely ranged up at the moment. So there's not a great deal to discuss. Buy low, sell high. That's the point of control, same sort of area we talked about before. No other points of controls are that close to us at the moment, apart from the 484 above, which would require us taking out 445 as that major high. And you can see the same sort of thing with the volume profile as opposed to the TPO. Still getting some sell signals at the moment. And I talked about in the webinar how the 305 is strengthening in a support. And so one of the more possible scenarios here could be that there is a wash of those levels, as so many people are expecting for this to break through 305 and then take down to 180. And I think that that leaves them wide open to being trapped for people just to take out that 305, maybe get down to the 290, 285 level. Looks like it's a breakout. And then all of a sudden you're left holding the bag as it flies another 100 points higher. So just watch out for that as a potential scenario. All right, I'm not going to go into the volume scanner for today. We'll leave that one. You have to join us in the webinar if you want to know more about that. All right, we'll move over to the Eurostoxx real quick. And here we go. The buy signals are coming on the daily chart, should I say? Still trapped in this range overall, and we have taken it from the downsloping high to high trend line, taken a parallel from that to form a channel, bounced off of that channel down here, and we're looking to test first of all this 34.43 level here. But more significantly, to see whether or not we can actually go and test this major swing high. When we were doing the webinar earlier, there was a minus 20% imbalance. That's halved now, so you would expect that to even out during the day. And so I looked at the depth of market on the other chart a moment ago on the DAX, and I said, take a mental picture of that. And the reason being, it's just you just see how thin the order book of the DAX is when you compare it to the Eurostoxx. And I believe that's the reason why the DAX is so much more volatile, because the volume is very thin, whereas there's a lot more liquidity on the Eurostoxx. So orders are absorbed much more easily. Okay, as far as ideas are concerned, we really need to be breaking below. Just remind myself what number this was. 33.91 to suggest that we're in a bearish retracement. If we manage to break below, we'll even just take it to this one, 88, I think that is. 33.88, then it opens up the possibility to test this point of ignition down here. If we hold above that 33.88, then you would expect that we're going to take out this 34.24 high, get into this previous high zone here as well. Traders are still surprisingly bullish at the moment, despite the FOMC interest rate hike, which we haven't even spoken about yet. 2.25% I think it's gone up to, and they're expecting another 4 over the next 12 months. So they're targeting 3.25% by the end of 2019. One little pattern that I'm watching out for is this one here, which is a potential action center reaction line set. It's not the strongest example because the action is not particularly strong. But you draw your center line, and when price creates this action point, it will often, when it gaps a center line, go down to tag the reaction line. So we'll see whether or not that turns out. But if you look in a textbook, that's not really a perfect example of action. So we'll see. Another example of that might be down here. This is based on a 60-minute chart. It's a better example of action, but just a less good example of a center line. Maybe if I did that, that would be giving you a few touches. And as price accelerates up to action, if we do break through that center line with some momentum or a gap, then it increases the possibility of seeing this kind of zigzag formation down towards the reaction line. And you can then anticipate your targets a little bit more accurately. All right, so at the moment, we're currently trapped in a range on the DAX, and the Eurostoxx is still technically bullish. So what we're looking to see is whether we can, first of all, break out the 300 zone on the DAX, or whether we break below that 33.88 on Eurostoxx, or whether actually we just continue to move to the upside now that we're forming that stronger base on the DAX. Do we actually gain some momentum and build from here? So there's some interesting stuff going on at the moment, but we've got to really wait for that range to come back in. We're under 100 points on the DAX at the moment. So that's given a bit of an overview. Come and join us tomorrow at the webinar, which we'll join from around about 7 o'clock in the morning. If you want to get hold of me, you can get me on Telegram, you can get me on Twitter, and all that sort of stuff. as well. But thank you very much for watching the video, and appreciate the support. Like the video if you enjoy what we're doing here. Subscribe to the channel. You can click up here and visit the website. Come back and check out all the resources that are on there. A lot of content that's absolutely free, and the videos here will hopefully give you a bit more play as to what's going on at the moment. Have a great trading day, and we'll catch you again tomorrow, guys. Take care.